Welcome to Industry Ignited, where we showcase leaders who are transforming industries with bold ideas and sustainable innovation. I'm your host, Dr. Leeanne Aguilar. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Floris Graziosi, CEO and founder of AYR Water based in Bali, Indonesia. Floris is a Dutch-Italian entrepreneur passionate about reshaping how premium hospitality delivers water. With more than a decade of international experience in Indonesia, he understands the unique challenges hotels, resorts, and restaurants face when balancing luxury service with sustainability. Through AYR Water's innovative purification and bottling systems, Floris and his team are eliminating single-use bottled water, cutting costs, and reducing plastic waste, while elevating the guest experience with premium still and sparkling water served on-site, on-demand, and with zero waste. Floris, welcome to Industry Ignited.
Thank you, Leanne. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. I'm excited to hear all about your innovative solutions around water. So Floris, you lived and worked internationally for many years. What inspired you to start AYR Water in Bali?
In 2012 and 13, I moved to Indonesia and I worked for the European Chamber of Commerce, the Dutch department of that. At some point, I was organizing a trade mission in collaboration with the embassy, and it was all around smart cities. And we were inviting European technology companies to invest or to explore opportunities to invest in smart technologies for transferring waste to energy. And part of the whole conference was to visit one of the largest landfills of Southeast Asia, and it's actually just outside Jakarta. And on until the horizon, you can see a huge what urban waste looks like. And yeah, Jakarta is a 17, or if you like, 20 million, 30 million people metropole. And this site was full of obviously urban waste, and cows were eating plastic, families lived there, kids were playing. And this scene where we actually visited and brought these European companies to, and I experienced myself, still remember the smell of the place and the whole environment there. And when I was, advancing in my career, I always kept these issues in my mind, and in everything what I do, I'm kind of inspired, like, how can we solve problems? And I guess it's something entrepreneurial. You always wander around like, hey, why is this way? Why isn't it more efficient, or more, how can we make this better, or in a better experience or a better product? So yeah, I always like to refer to, the waste issue, especially in water and in the environment that we work now from Bali. It really relates to water, waste, and energy challenges. They're all interrelated. And sustainability in that sense, yeah, whether you use ESG or circularity or regeneration, whatever phrase, it's all related and around these three topics.
Yeah. Can you share the moment that you realized bottled water was an outdated solution for hospitality?
Yeah, well, in preparing or evolving the idea of starting a business in water purification solutions, and then in targeting hospitality, I watched a video on LinkedIn. One of the many resources was a video that explained the scope of how industry has, scaled up the single use of bottled water, single use bottles. So the idea that market is distributing billions of plastic bottles around, filled with water, drinking water, around the world. That was like, why are we doing that? Why is that happening? Why are there, why do we need French Alps water in Indonesia? Because there's plenty of water in Indonesia. I come from the Netherlands. We're a maritime country. Indonesia consists of 17,000 islands. It's a maritime country. There's plenty of water here. And although there's a lot of water pollution and environmental pollution, there are solutions for that. And there's still plenty of water. Danone in Indonesia is one of the largest employers. They have, I think, around 9 what they call water factories. I like to call them plastic bottle factories. Um, but there's plenty of water. So that idea that we're distributing globally billions and billions of plastic bottles of water, that was like, why are we doing that? That can be
Right.
better solved on site and on demand.
Yeah, so that with I mean, just the impact of seeing the huge piles of waste in Indonesia, the country, um, and then
As a
in the
consequence, yeah,
yeah, as a consequence, and then also, I mean, I know in the oceans, I mean, there's a lot of pollution as well with plastics, right? I mean, especially around the
absolutely.
island countries. Um,
Tourists nowadays experience waste in the sea where they will want to snorkel to admire the undersea world,
yeah.
corals and fishes. And yeah, I remember this famous world global press picture of a seahorse holding a cotton bath waste from, human use. And I think it went viral instantly. The people were
Hmm.
suddenly confronted with the effects of their behavior by throwing things away. Um, you can't throw away yourself out of waste. People don't realize it ends in landfill or in the ocean, or and we can't continue doing that.
Yeah. Now, how did your background in hospitality and B2B sales prepare you for this leap into water and innovation?
I brought a few things together. I was asked to represent another brand, an existing overseas brand, to enter the market in Indonesia. And honestly, I'm a generalist, so I know a little bit of everything. At least I try to, and I learned myself that about water purification in general, what is needed for that, what are the principles, and okay, if you combine that, and although I'm Italian, I didn't know that Italy is has a few of the largest global beverage technology manufacturers. And I brought these parties together, like water purification and water refrigeration. And I started to realize that, oh, if we use refillable bottles, I mean, restaurants and hotels have a lot of glassware that they dishwash. So why are you not washing bottles and refilling them like you're doing with regular glassware? And in high-end Horeca, it's already common sense to have glassware washers separate from foodware, where there's a lot of residue. Um, that glassware gets easily contaminated. Um, so adding one to two and one is two, so three, four, five. You think, hey, this can work. This is a solution. And I turned out to me that from in Indonesia, there is nobody bringing these things together because water purification is quite it's a conventional technology and refrigeration as well, and bring them together as a solution with refillable bottles that are designed for reuse and refill because they're scratch free, they're dishwash resistant, heat resistant. Um, that was a solution for a simple thing for a seemingly complex scaled up problem. And
Yeah.
when we first started contacting suppliers, obviously they saw a huge potential in the Indonesian market, so that helped to speed things up.
So you developed a system of refillable glass bottles. And so for those who are unfamiliar, tell us like a little bit more about how AYR Water's system actually works to replace the bottled water in
Yeah,
hospitality.
sure. Um, so basically, there are a few options. We all know how beer taps look like, right? You have basically a tap. It's installed in a bar system, a manual tap, and it comes with an under counter cooler that we connect to the water main, and then with a filter before. So it means you have filtered water going into the cooler. You put a cylinder next to it that adds CO2 to the water, that's been refrigerated. So you need cool water to be able to add CO2 and it stays in the water. And then you got three options flushed through the tap system. So you can basically tap still chilled sparkling water. And having these designed, so one of the things I realized is that we're facing a lot of skepticism because Indonesia is probably famous for high polluted water, high polluted environment. And I would face a lot of skepticism. Can we drink purified water, even though it has purified in front of it? Does it mean it's drinking standard? And there are concepts and people around that we say, okay, it has to be potable. United Nations definition of potable water is that it's clean water, just enough to drink it. Doesn't mean it's healthy. Okay, so
okay.
it's clean water,
Like
and
bare
that is
minimum.
right, the bare minimum. That's
Yeah.
potable. And if you wanna call it premium drinking water, then you need to further purify it to a certain standard, and that is tested by third-party food laboratories that are widely located in Indonesia. So we partnered with them and to study further what are the average water quality standards in Indonesia. How does water filtration is already playing a role in hotels and other hospitality outlets around Indonesia. And I learned that hotels already have to purify water to a clean water standard enabled to receive international bookings. So we have already hotels filtering water to clean standard. That makes it super easy to further purify it to drinking water standard. With a simple additional filter in each food outlet, bar, or kitchen, combined with cooler and a tap, there we are. You have drinking water from the tap on site.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so what makes your solution both environmentally sustainable and operationally practical then for hotels and restaurants?
Yeah, so hotels tend to be fear of this health and security concern. There are plenty of people already before me that have developed filters for consumer market, and especially poor and average Indonesians who live in rural areas that are confronted in disasters or live outside. They need a simple device to make river water drinkable, for instance. Okay, that's what you call a good solution if you have no other choice. But talking about hotels and restaurants, we actually deliver HORECA technology, so it's really designed from the outset to be applied in hospitality environments that are high demanding. So it's basically a bar system that fits in the hospitality protocols, hygiene protocols, and operational SOPs. So we're not introducing something completely new. Hotels and restaurants already produce fresh juices, for instance, that are not closed in a sealed bottle. So why not also serve a bottle or a glass of water without seal as well?
Yeah. And so economically, it's not an enormous cost then to integrate your system, I'm understanding, because it's using equipment and processes that they already have in place.
The problem economically with the scaled up single-use economics is that the scale of bottled water has made water bottles almost free. So I was requested by a large hotel group ever in Jakarta to operate my own bottling station, serving a cluster of 20 hotels around Jakarta, and to make a calculation in a way that we would be cheaper than the plastic bottles that they've already put on the rooms and used in the restaurants. It had to be cheaper. So they would only be sustainable if we also could be cheaper. And when I did the calculation, I realized that I had to hire staff, purchase trucks, and become a logistics company to start delivering and collecting bottles and clean them centrally and returning. So this will be a returnable bottle program. That was what they were asking for. And I realized that to be able to be cheaper, it would be impossible because the normal bottled water companies like Danone, Nestle, they're all over in Indonesia. So the price per bottle, if you start calculating, it's 2,000 rupiah. That's almost a cent, okay, per bottle.
Oh, wow.
Well, I
Yeah.
can't do that at a small scale for just 10 hotels, even though there are a lot of bottles. But it would be a too small operation. I would always be more expensive. So I said, I don't want to go in that direction. I want to convince hotels to purify their own water on site and reuse their own bottles. And that has been I've been, starting to get better at. So hotels are embracing our solution, and restaurants as well.
Well, and the overall long-term cost and the environmental cost and the cost, it adds up, even if it's not immediate, like the long-term costs of using bottles or plastic bottles over, sustainable glass bottles is a lot more expensive ultimately.
Years. It takes hundreds, if not thousands, years to biodegrade plastic, right? And glass is even worse. What people don't realize because of these anti-plastics campaigns is that single-use glass bottles are even worse than single-use plastic bottles. Some hotels that I'm reaching out to are saying, yeah, but we're totally fine because we're already using glass bottles. We're no longer using any plastics, not in the rooms, not in anywhere in the hotel. You won't find any plastic. And they say, okay, but you're asking your supplier to collect these bottles, bring them again, and refill them again. It's an emission, a high-level emission operation in itself. So still you have the logistics. And our systems are actually profitable from day one because we charge, the model works in a lease fee where we actually have a maintenance team to operate and make sure to warrant the systems remain operational and with no water supply interruption. So where hotels are afraid that they're left becoming a water production hub, we actually take care of that. And they can focus on running the hotel or the restaurant. And you just, do the day-to-day normal bar cleaning operation.
Yeah. Can you describe some of the technical or design features that ensure the AYR integrates seamlessly into hospitality operations?
Yeah, so one of the key aspects to that is that hotels run their own kitchen protocols. HACCP is a hazards identification protocol that every party who runs a professional or production kitchen needs to understand where are the risks of contamination and things like that. So we always recommend hotels to adhere to these standards if they don't do that already. We really focus on modern hospitality groups so that we can also trust that they respect these protocols. And where they don't, we are asked to train staff to really get familiar with our system. And it's a matter of understanding how the system works. And the system, the machines themselves, like a beer tap, it's a matter of disinfecting the manual handles or the taps themselves, but the internal functionality, for instance, the cooler or the taps, they focus more on the quality of the water or the electric safety of the machine. So they're designed according to European product standards that make sure that the electric products are designed in a way that they don't have any conflict with electricity or in a kitchen environment that can be heat as well. So yeah, it's up to the protocol of operating the kitchen where we assist in, and sometimes we make manuals to hang in behind on the wall in the bar to make always sure that everyone who's operating the tap understands, hey, it's up to them. You want to wear hand gloves, you want to wear hair protection. Some hotels design a room to bottle water and pre-produce filtered water bottles. In that routine, obviously, you're not just producing your routine bar fresh juice. So then you're actually filling bottles to be placed in rooms, and it takes longer, not for instant drinking, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
If it's instant drinking, like a quick beer or a quick juice or a quick water bottle, you even place it in front of the guests without caps. You just pour the glass and that's it. So yeah, it's really part of a day-to-day operation, and our machines, where if you want to talk about semi-automatic machines, we are now post-COVID, so we also provide disinfection materials like sprays or gel to make sure ozone, for instance, kills bacteria instantly. It can be sprayed on every spot where we see risk for contamination.
Yeah. And what kind of impact are hotels and restaurants seeing when they adopt your system?
Try to imagine when you enter a hotel room, we always see typically 2 bottles of water on next to the bed or next to the coffee machine or in the mini bar. Imagine these are plastic or glass bottles in every room, in every hotel night, or in every popular restaurant. People order every day hundreds or even a thousand of bottles of water every day. An average hotel, around 300, 400 rooms, has 3 or 4 restaurants. So from our customer numbers, I can tell you the average hotel consumes 20,000 of water bottles every month. Okay?
Wow.
20,000 bottles of water every month. Now,
Wow.
by replacing that from plastic to glass, and from glass single use to glass refill reuse, and from a lot of transportation, continuing deliveries and ordering to on-site and on-demand, erases not just the waste of 20,000 bottles a month, but also the trucks not participating in traffic, not having the outturn of CO2, all these emissions and the waste generated afterwards. So with a simple tap, bar, cool system in every outlet or in the main kitchen, hotels really make this operation more efficient and more responsible, both for guests to appreciate a bottle that doesn't necessarily come from Italy or from France, because we're not even talking non-essential imports. We're also talking
Right.
about a nationwide distribution of these bottles, and it's already a lot that in even the most rural villages, you don't find probably enough medicines, but there's always Coca-Cola, there's always a bottle of water from France even, there's always, cigarettes, of course,
Yeah.
all kinds of products that you would think, why would people need this in traditional villages, most rural Indonesia? Why is there so much plastic
Right.
being imported in these natural environments?
When it's unnecessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
You've mentioned like that producing 1 liter of bottled water could require up to 3 liters of water. How does AYR change that equation?
Sometimes it's necessary. Our filters or some of our purification systems are not that far, but they keep evolving in improving that ratio. We already improved our systems from, traditional reverse osmosis requires a tank to to store fresh water that's been produced and to divert wastewater. And then now we have a reverse osmosis system that is tankless, so you can leave the tap open. So it's called direct flow. Um, but yeah, it's hard to avoid that equation. I always say that this wastewater can be reused as well to water the lawn, or to apply it in different purposes. So it can be repurposed in a way. So in a way, it's also circular, in that sense, from a water efficiency point of view. In a hotel, obviously, you have can be a swimming pool. You have bath water. You have washing water. It's called gray water, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of reuse opportunity, repurpose opportunities for wastewater as well.
Yeah. Do you find that sustainability efforts like this directly affect how guests perceive and choose where to stay or dine?
I get feedback sometimes that the bottle is served and that's it, right? People appreciate the bottle, people find it secure, tasteful, and they appreciate it. But without a story, people just drink the bottle, have a great evening, they go home, right? So
And
we
don't think
always
about
try
it.
to,
Yeah.
right, and we always try to explain to and inform and somewhat educate staff, our customer staff, to also tell a story, be prepared for questions that might be asked by guests. Where is the water coming from? What is this kind of brand? Why are you using filtered water? What technology are you using? And in hotels, often we help them to design leaflets in the rooms to explain something about help us eradicating our plastic from the hotel, from our operations. Um, so there's also several forms of consent in a way that guests give from the offset when they enter the hotel or a restaurant. So in a way, by the fact that there's never been any complaint or claim or whatever, we've done trials, we've done test programs, we've done a lot of things to validate the idea that we can serve it clean, secure, tasteful, and in a luxury experience, so that you're not generating more questions than answers. People shouldn't be thinking, oh, is this safe? Right? Then you're too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, the waitress always asks if a guest orders water, can I have a water? They'll ask, you want still or sparkling? So that it should be a natural. You get these options, so you pick one, your preference, and that's it. You shouldn't be thinking, hey, is it safe? So that has been a concern of me from the day one. How can we bypass all these skepticists that say we can't drink Indonesian soil water? And the unique thing is here that in Europe, when we think of North, we think of Scandinavia. And Scandinavia is associated with cleanliness, uh, beautiful mountains like Canada, right? It's
Right.
fresh air. But in Indonesia, when you think of North, there's nothing North. Yeah, North Asia, but what is North, right? So in the name, we really also thought, let's not make water our brand name something that is international or whatever, because a lot of Indonesians perceive something international as better, or something that is expensive has to be good, right?
Yeah.
I get the complaint sometimes that we are too cheap because they perceive more expensive must be better. So we're
Right.
really fighting a lot of prejudice here. So we really thought, how can we really take the challenge to introduce something local and then still make it premium and still make it without any question, this is a luxury product, right?
Yeah.
Because in hospitality, everything is fancy, everything is Gling, 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 right? Gling, gling.
Yes.
So if you look at hospitality advertisements, we must adhere to that standard. So we can't cut on marketing. So we really
To make it
presented,
trusted. Yeah, that
yeah,
perception, like you were saying, it
yeah.
for credibility and trust
And
and
still, it takes a lot of
yeah.
time to build these proof points and convince managers, hotel operators, and owners that this is actually safe. Um, but in Bali, I feel a lot more collective, shared understanding and awareness of the need for solutions than in Jakarta, for instance, and in other regions in Indonesia where this is still an issue as well. Um, in Jakarta, it's a harder message to get across. In Bali, there's a lot of awareness, and hospitality is actually taking the lead in this transformation to in the sustainable operations.
Yeah. So as data centers and global industries evolve, energy is a big limitation. Water efficiency also plays into that. Where do you see water innovation going in the next 5 to 10 years?
I've heard of systems that make drinkable water from the air, right? The water, the moisture that's in the air. I've heard of systems that, for instance, the filters that we use that come with IoT, Internet of Things, that combine data that you can always monitor, not just how much is consumed, but also what is the exact quality that flushes through the system. So you can have a dashboard online that shows a live monitoring of every system we've deployed anywhere in the world. Um, yeah, look, there's even trends going on towards flavored water, hydration through taste. Did you experience the taste through smell, but you're actually drinking normal mineral water, tasteless, right? Natural water.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of products, I think, but these are all first world solutions at the moment. So it's always interesting to visit international exhibitions to see what is coming. And, Indonesia, in that sense, is not a production country where, a lot of water solutions are produced. So in that sense, our machines come from Europe. The purification technology is European um, or Taiwanese. We have different options, but yeah, so we see things coming from the first world coming this way, and in Singapore tends to introduce these things in Asia. I'm always curious.
Yeah. But your solution seems to be one that would be, great for other countries, including first world countries as well. Is your plan to expand, into
Well, I
other
think in
markets?
terms of future, the strongest challenge is to convince hospitality groups to start building new hotels integrated with our solution.
Mm.
And not start with single-use traditional bottled water from day one, from opening, pre-opening, and then switch to our systems, right? Marriott at the moment has around 75 hotels under management in Indonesia. They have the ambition to open another 25 in the next 5 years. I would like to see our system to be there from day one, and we're getting there. We're already engaging in pre-opening conversations. So this is something we're really focusing on in changing the mindset from how do you prepare for a new to be open restaurant, new to be open hotel, with more innovative solutions from day one, from pre-opening. Um, and in a sense, when our products become more efficient, it becomes more of a system solution. So when we talk to procurement managers, they're always looking for solutions that they can roll out throughout the group of or one hotel chain, right? Or in multiple outlets designed the same way. And we're getting there. I think this is something we can already deliver. And because we have very reliable machines, we're very reliable filter machines as well. So
Yeah.
Although we can never guarantee before we did any testing what will the result be, but our machines turn out to be working in most of the time, so that's it's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, exciting prospects. What advice would you give hospitality leaders who want to adopt more sustainable practices but don't know where to start?
We have a partnership with EarthCheck, a certification organization that does not measure your um, your pledges, but actually goes into your operational data. And they do a review of your waste, water, and energy efficiency, but also the technologies that you integrate in and the protocols you're following. They provide a very good reference for where you are at the moment. It creates a starting point to do an internal review, not for just commercial purposes. I mean, it's at a price, but ask yourself, do I really need to earn that money back, right? It's an investment in the future. We don't know whether in the future this becomes a decision point, whether guests will say, I don't want to stay in gray hotels, I only want to stay in green hotels. If you believe in that, great. But we can't predict whether that will be a key decision point for guests in the future. But, you know, to have a commitment and to see, okay, if I can make a difference, why not? Right? For the
Yeah.
same effort and the same level of investment. Of course, the money in the investment will return, although maybe you can't really pinpoint yet at what point in time or you know in how many months. It is worth it because ultimately I believe with positive and more less with less damaging operations and less impacting operations. I mean, hotels are not sustainable by definition, right? They consume a lot of energy. They process a lot of people that generate waste, and they need a lot of water and CO2 emissions to operate. So it's an interruption from that whole environmental ecosystem on that location by definition. So to really limit that impact is high on these lists of all these managers. They already have KPIs, a lot of them. They have KPIs to minimize single use in the restaurant operations or even in the rooms. And I'm sure they're pretty much aware of fake solutions, you know, half solutions that seem sustainable but actually are not.
Right.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of them do have KPIs around social or corporate responsibility as well, you know, being taking on sustainability initiatives and
absolutely. And if you're still thinking that sustainability is the opposite from profitability or even that it conflicts, I think you should see that as part of a responsible business can only be sustainable as a responsible business, right?
mhm,
For
right.
instance, in the first world, new hotels in the US, I'm aware of hotels that open with in-room bottle fill refill stations. And in Indonesia, there are already a lot of buildings. Renovating is more expensive. So even if you say, okay, but we can't renovate all the rooms, but there are things you can still do, right? Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
I believe in those kind of initiatives to at least change the mind of your staff, also being more aware of your responsibility as a whole.
Right. And so what's next for AYR Water as you expand across Indonesia and beyond?
At the moment, we are in an approval process with some strategic hospitality groups. So I'm very looking forward to be part of their journey in expanding throughout Indonesia. Indonesia is a huge archipelago, and it takes decades to cover a nationwide hospitality network, as well as for us to be able to serve these solutions everywhere. But we're following that direction. Where is Indonesia modernizing hospitality and developing new experiences? So that is one job. What people don't realize, yeah, are you going international? Obviously, our customers are international in the region at least. There's always, room for dreams and see where it goes. I couldn't imagine where we are now a year ago, so
Uh-huh.
I still struggle to imagine where we are a year from now.
All kinds of possibilities. Anything, yeah, anything is possible. And yeah, you have some really exciting opportunities on the horizon, it sounds like, and
Exactly.
prospects. So, yeah. Well, Floris, thank you so much for joining us today. Your vision with AYR Water shows us that luxury and sustainability don't have to be at odds, and they can work together to create better guest experiences, stronger businesses, and a healthier planet. So, yeah, there's no contradiction there. Like you said, they work together. It's all possible. How can our listeners learn more about your company and initiative?
They can follow us on social media and they can visit our website. We're all anywhere. AYR Water, Google it.com, anywhere. Yeah. Facebook, YouTube. Yeah.
All right. And so for our listeners, thank you for listening to this episode of Industry Ignited. Make sure to subscribe and follow us and join us for our next episode. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep igniting industry.